It is the 4th of July 2025. Glad that you tuned into this live broadcast. Our reporters have been up and about interacting with different issues and different people, and they have brought you different stories tonight. Here are the top ones. State House church construction will not be funded by public funds, Ruto clarifies. Don't use Gen Z for political mileage, Oburu Odinga warns as Saba Saba fast approaches. Kenyans continue to plead for justice as Albert Ojwang and Brian Mwangi are laid to rest. And Boda Boda riders in Thika receive brand new motorbikes through the Community Empowerment Initiative. I beg your pardon. This is KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin. And my brother Sami Okello joins us in the sign language interpretation tonight. Welcome to the broadcast as we inform you on what's happening in the country and beyond our borders. Now, President William Ruto has defended plans to construct a 1.2 billion church at State House amidst backlash and criticism. Speaking at State House today, Ruto stated that he has no apologies and will move ahead with the plans regardless. Additionally, the president added that the church will not be built using public funds but out of his own pocket. These expenses, he notes, need to construct a church befitting the State House. And on Monday, July 7th, 2025, Kenya marks Saba Saba Day, a defining moment in the nation's democratic journey, marked on the 7th day of July. And the day commemorates the 1990 pro-democracy protests that defied the autocratic regime of former President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, where thousands of Kenyans poured into the streets to demand multi-party democracy and political freedom.
And we are not fearful. We are not going to hear anything or to listen anything from anyone. We are here to fight for this nation until we gain freedom. Yeah.
Saba Saba 77 refers to the historic protest of July 7, 1990, when Kenyans staged the first major public defiance against one-party rule. Led by figures like Kenneth Matiba, Charles Robia, and Raila Odinga, the movement called for democratic reforms and an end to dictatorial grip of KANU. Still, demonstrations erupted across the country, with the state responding with force, arrests, beatings, and reported killings. But the protest had already lit a fire. The streets had spoken. Kenya was ready for a change. By 1991, the pressure became unbearable. The government repealed Section 2A of the Constitution, ending Kenya's status as one-party state. For the first time since independence, multi-party politics was restored, and Kenyans could freely form political parties beyond KANU. Now, 35 years later, the torch has passed to a new generation. Gen Z activists are mobilizing peaceful protests ahead of this year's Saba Saba, not against one-party rule, but against extrajudicial killings, abductions, and police brutality. Their demands are just clear: dignity, justice, and accountability. Patricia Alex for KUTV, Nairobi.
And Siaya Senator Dr. Oburu Odinga is cautioning the political class against hijacking the Gen Z movement for selfish political gain. Speaking in Bondo during a donation of computers to local schools, the senator urged leaders to let young people articulate their grievances independently and asked the state to address their concerns peacefully without resorting to violence.
Thank you so much. This country belongs to all of us as Kenyans. We don't want to destroy our country. Me, I support Gen Z because I'm also Gen Z. But I would like to advise that the political class does not seize the agenda of the Gen Z for their own purpose. Let the Gen Z put their agenda up, and then let us try our best to solve the issues which are being raised by our young people without killing them. We don't want our people to be killed, and me, I cannot support the loss of life. I also cannot support loss of property. But what we must support is democracy.
Now, as the planned Sabasaba demonstrations draw closer, a number of women leaders from the coast have expressed concerns over the route taken by the youth as they call for the alternative, more peaceful means to communicate their grievances in place of demonstrations that have previously proved chaotic, and the women calling for dialogue and reconciliation. Here is that report.
A group of grassroots women leaders from Kenya's coast region is calling for an end to ongoing anti-government protests, urging youth to embrace dialogue and reconciliation as a more constructive alternative to addressing their grievances.
Hii hamasa haitatusaidia.
Led by community advocate Afia Rama, the women warned that the continued unrest, destruction of property, and disruption of businesses, injuries, and loss of lives threaten to induce the country's economic progress.
Mambo ya maandamano jamani sasa yasite yaishe. Sisi kile tunaomba wapeane serikali nafasi. Serikali iweze kufanya kazi. Tumeona yale mheshimiwa amefanya, Mheshimiwa Ruto, na tunasema azidi kuendelea kufanya.
The leaders appealed for calm and patience, insisting that the administration needs time and stability to deliver on its campaign promises. Rama cautioned that unchecked demonstrations risk plunging the country into chaos.
Atakapokuwa imepewa nafasi ya kufanya kazi, kila mtu atahisi amefikiwa. Kwa hivyo vijana, hii hamasa haitatusaidia. Hatuwezi kubali tuchome Kenya yetu ambayo tumeiunda kwa muda mrefu, Kenya yenye amani. Hatutaki tuwe kama nchi zingine zile ziko na vita. Kwa hivyo sisi tunaomba watoto waweze kusikiza na waweze kupeana nafasi kwa serikali, tusichome Kenya yetu.
The women urged youth to exercise restraint and reject violent confrontations, saying that such rage is often counterproductive and often manipulated by political actors for selfish means.
Kuna mahali kuna umuhimu wa kurekebisha. Kuna njia huwa ya kurekebisha kwa kutumia njia ya hekima. Kwa hivyo leo tuko hapa tukisema ya kuwa serikali iliyoko mamlakani ipewe nafasi ili iweze kuimplement yale mambo ambao walikuwa wamefanya nini, wameahidi.
Echoing her sentiments, Ms. Swara Ahmed called on young people to opt for peaceful engagement with authorities and pursue constructive resolutions to their concerns.
Hakuna Kenya mbili, Kenya ni moja. Ikiwa tutaiharibu tutakwenda wapi sisi? Kwa hivyo tumejitolea sisi na tumeanza mwamko mpya. Tutatembea Kenya nzima tukipreach peace. Sisi kama wamama tukisemezana na watoto wetu.
The leaders also rallied support for government-backed youth empowerment initiatives, particularly those spearheaded by the Deputy President Kindiki, and encouraged a national focus on development until a new electoral season. Yvonne Kemoma, KUTV.
Now, hundreds of mourners gathered in Kakonyo village, Homa Bay County, to bury Albert Ojwang, a teacher and blogger who died in police custody. Politicians including Babu Owino, Millie Odhiambo, and Governor Gladys Wanga were present. The family called for justice and peace while tensions flared briefly as angry youth expressed frustration. Despite the emotional atmosphere, the barrier proceeded peacefully. Now 6 police officers have been charged in connection with Albert's death as national pressure intensifies for accountability and reforms within Kenya's security and policing systems. And this same somber mood engulfed Kagumo village in Kirinyaga County as 28-year-old Brian Maina was laid to rest. Maina died on June 25th during the Gen Z protest, allegedly after being struck at the back of the head with a blunt object. A post-mortem confirmed the fatal injury, which the family believes was inflicted by police. Grieving relatives say they are struggling to come to terms with the loss. The family is now demanding justice, calling for urgent investigations and accountability over the circumstances surrounding his death.
Uchungu kwa hii mjukuu wangu anaitwa Luka Brian Maina. Na niko na uchungu na naongea na uchungu. Mbona serikali mnamaliza watoto yetu? Mbona mnamaliza watoto yetu? Mtatumalizia watoto paka lini? Simkae chini muongee na vijana, msikilizane. Wanalelia haki yao.
Mtu anaitwa president wetu Ruto ni asikize watoto, aite wakae chini waongee wasikizane. Last year alikanyishwa wakati ya finance bill, akasikia, akavunja kamati yote. Hata saa hii Monday ni Sabasaba na ni siku ikumbukao mpaka na wakongwe wenye walikufa hiyo wakati. Ruto, tunakuomba ukuje ongea na vijana wadogo wakusikize.
And politics met palm trees in Malindi as Kenya Kwanza allied leaders staged a full-throttle charm offensive in Kilifi County. With gifts in hand and campaign slogans in tow, President Aid Farouk Kibet and Deputy President Kithure Kindiki led a chorus calling for a second term for President William Ruto, all while swatting away opposition claims and internal party jibes with equal vigor.
The coastal town of Malindi in Kilifi County turned into a political threshing ground as Kenya Kwanza allied leaders touched base with locals in an empowerment drive spearheaded by Presidential Aid Farouk Kibet and Deputy President Kithure Kindiki.
Kuitana mashemeji, wakiulizwa agenda yao ni nini watafanya tofauti ambayo haijafanywa, badala ya kujibu hiyo swali wanasema one term. Wakiulizwa watafanya nini, wanasema Ruto must go.
With the mantra of 2 terms echoing through the rally, the message was clear. The Kenya Kwanza Alliance wants us.
Unajua team ni mbili. Team moja ni hii unaona hapa, komanda wetu anaitwa William Ruto.
Wale wengine mandugu zetu munawaona juzi wametoka Nairobi mpaka hapa Kilifi, wanasimama kwa matown kueneza siasa za ukabila, chuki na uchochezi.
And they came bearing gifts.
Ukafika hapa wote na hatujakuja mkono mtupu. Si nyinyi ndio mnasema mkono mtupu afanyiwe nini? Tumekuja na ambacho kiko na kitu cha kulambwa ama namna gani?
Women groups in the region received assorted support as a symbol of what the leaders called empowerment, not empty promises.
Na sisi kama kina mama hatujui ukabila. Kwa sababu leo hii mahali unaolewa utaitwa jina la bwana yako. Si ni kweli? Kwa hivyo wakati mtu anatuletea ukabila wakisema kila mtu aende kwao, unaachana na bwana.
In a classic campaign mode, the opposition was brushed off as all sound no sight plan, with speakers accusing their rivals of peddling a narrative full of political noise but short on development blueprints.
Siku zenu zimehesabika. You have no place in our democracy.
Uliza wale watu, agenda yenu ni gani? Wanasema agenda yetu ni one term. Agenda cannot be one term.
Wakabila wa shares, wale wakulete fujo, wakija hapa Malindi nyinyi wa mama hata viuno musiwazungushie, musiwaimbie. Wale wa kuimbiwa na kuzungushiwa viuno ni sisi wale wenye tumewaletea pesa ya kuleta maendeleo.
But the bigger salvo was aimed inwards at former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who found himself on the defensive end, accused of championing a tribal politicking style that, according to critics, could split the nation.
Hakuna wakati tena mwananchi atakubali kiongozi ambaye amekuwa na nafasi akaitumia vibaya, anaenda kwa mlango wa nyuma, anakuja na dirisha kujipendekeza kwa wananchi na maneno ya ovyo, maneno ya bure, maneno ya ukabila na maneno ya kuleta fujo katika taifa letu la Kenya.
Mliona ule mkabila si mnamjua mkabila? Na nataka kuuliza wamama ya Malindi, nyinyi ni wa Kenya ama wa kabila? Mnataka kutembea na Wakenya?
Wamama wa Malindi, nataka mnieleze, yule ako ndani na yule ako nje, nani anasikia raha? Mumesema ni aliye ndani.
As both camps crisscross regions in a bid to build momentum for the next polls.
Mumetosheka na sima? Mumetosheka na pesa mfukoni? Kwa hivyo wangapi wanasema tumuunge mkono William Samoei Ruto?
It's clear that the coast isn't just about sun, sand and Swahili charm.
Pia nini? Hebu nione tutam ya William Ruto, tutam ya William Ruto.
It's now a political battleground where every word, handout and chant counts.
Ngapi wanasema wafanye kazi pamoja?
Kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi walio wana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili
bila woga. Watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi, hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Ni kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Miti miti, panda panda. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome.
Kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi walio wana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili
bila woga. Watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi, hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin. Welcome back. Remember, this live broadcast is also live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya. Talk to us at KUTV_Kenya. That's on X, also known as Twitter. Now, teen mothers in Githongori, Kiambu County are reclaiming their health through forgotten vegetables. In a bid to combat diet-related illnesses, JKUAT, in partnership with Githongori Sub-County Healthcare, organized a nutrition training focused on indigenous vegetables. The aim is to empower young mothers with skills that could save lives and restore the dignity of motherhood through proper nutrition.
Across the country, over 26% of teen girls faces nutritional deficiencies, a crisis worsened by starchy, fatty diets, and little knowledge of traditional alternatives. In Githongori, a community-based program is changing narrative, whereby Professor Mary Abukusa is hopeful that they can influence just a few, but they can influence two others.
What inspired this program, especially promotion of African indigenous vegetables, is because we see that currently people are consuming unhealthy foods. We have a lot of fast foods. Many of the Gen Zs I know, they will want pick up kenchik or chips and eat, but they eat very little vegetables. But for them to be healthy, they are the future. They are the people who are the leaders now, and they need to be healthy.
JKUAT's outreach is rooted in the fact that most young mothers consume minimal vegetables, yet face chronic health conditions like anemia, diabetes, and frequent infections. One of the nurses, Cecilia Njeri, went ahead to share how majority of the population fail to realize how dangerously high their sugar levels are.
Na ndio tunaona wengi sasa wako na ugonjwa wa sukari. Unakuta watu wakipimwa sukari, kama ni tumeenda nje kupima watu sukari, unaona watu wengi wako na sukari. Ukipima watu HB, kiwango ya damu, tunaona iko chini sana. Tungewambia sana kurudia ile wazazi wetu walikuwa wanakula zamani, hizi mboga za kienyeji sana tupande na tukule.
Their training therefore highlighted vegetables such as African nightshade and jute mallow, which are rich in iron, fiber, and immunity. The participants were also taught how to cook these vegetables using standard recipes that preserve their medicinal value.
So tunaambia teen mothers watilie sana maanani lishe la watoto, na hasa kuwalisha mboga. Na hapa tunasema mboga za kienyeji, kwa sababu mboga za exotic, sukuma wiki na cabbage hazifai kwa watoto. Hata kwa kukula wanapata ugumu. They are not palatable. Secondly, ukikompare na madini ama na nutrients zile zinapatikana katika mboga za kienyeji ni za hali ya juu.
Kuza kuwa tukitumia hizi green vegetable inaweza tusaidia kwa blood, kwa damu, na kuzuia magonjwa kama diabetes, na tunashukuru na tungependa mrudi tena na tena kutufunza.
This grassroots campaign is more than a nutritional training. It's a movement reminding young mothers that healing does not begin in the pharmacy, but it begins in the kitchen.
And harmful cultural norms such as female genital mutilation, early marriages and child abuse has been a challenge to the Kuria community in Migori County. The World Vision program, managed by Susan Seeley, empowered the 4 counties in Kuria through its Big Dream program aimed to improve the community's well-being. The program marked a milestone with a graduation event where 1,731 individuals under the community change model were trained, and local leaders and children's voices emphasized that through education, collaboration, and barazas, change is taking root.
We are here to celebrate the success of one of our key models that we are implementing across the 4 sub-counties of Kuria, which is the community change. And we are having 1,731 graduates who have been supported closely by the seasoned TOTs, who are 56 in number.
Child marriage is a concern and FGM in the community, so we are working as a team towards eliminating FGM, which in essence leads to early marriage after maybe the girls have been circumcised.
And the national government has been urged to fast-track the expansion of Malindi Airport, as coastal leaders say the project is a key pillar in reviving the tourism sector, whose output declined significantly after the COVID-19 outbreak.
Leaders from Kilifi County have called on the national government to quicken the expansion of Malindi Airport, arguing that delays in the project have adversely affected the tourism sector and the coastal economy at large.
Kilifi County, it's a premium destination kwa mambo ya utalii. Hapa ndani ya pwani tukiwa county sita, Kilifi ni moja wa zile county ambazo zinaleta uchumi mkubwa katika mambo ya utalii.
Mheshimiwa, maneno ya Malindi Airport na kuhakikishia tumekuwa tukijadiliana na yale yamesemwa na county commissioner, yote inafaa itatuliwe sahizi hata tukiwa kwa ofisini.
They further stressed that a modern international airport will open numerous opportunities for the region. Led by Kilifi North Member of Parliament Owen Bayer, they emphasized that the expansion is crucial to facilitate direct flights from European countries.
Na waziri wa transport tumekuwa na mkutano na PS, tumekuwa na mkutano hata na rais kuhusu expansion of Malindi. Tunasema hivyo not for anything else but to boost tourism. Kwa sababu hawa watu nikiwauliza leo, unataka ndege itoke Milan ama itoke Rome iland Malindi, wanasema hiyo ndio wanataka. Hebu na wanajua kwamba huu utalii utafufuliwa kama ndege zitatoka kule zije direct wapi?
Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife Rebecca Miano, who addressed the residents during the event, stated that the government recognizes Malindi's contribution to tourism and is ready to work with stakeholders to restore its status as a tourism hub.
Wengi wanataka Malindi Airport ipanuliwe, imalizike, ndege zilete wageni. Nataka kukuambia hiyo iko hapa kwa akili upande wa mbele.
However, Kilifi County Commissioner Josephat Biwott revealed that land dispute is hindering the expansion of the airport, disclosing that part of the land designated for the project has been invaded by private individuals.
So problem ile tuko nayo kwa Malindi Airport is the government has tried to look for some money to facilitate mambo ya accommodation, mambo ya settlement ya the land owners. But the problem, the land owners are not the ones on site. Wale wako site ni squatters.
Currently, the airport handles only domestic flights, with international tourists forced to pass through Nairobi and Mombasa before reaching Malindi, a challenge that leaders say is hurting tourism growth and the region's economy. Stephen Masha, KUTV, Nairobi.
And boda riders in Thika, Kiambu County had every reason to smile after receiving brand new motorbikes through the Community Empowerment Initiative, popularly known as the Economic Empowerment Program. While receiving the motorbikes from Thika MP Alice Nganga, the riders also urged the government to increase the allocation of funds to the Youth Fund to better support the self-help groups and economic activities. The riders, however, revealed that they continue to face numerous challenges, including difficulties in accessing loans to sustain their livelihood activities.
Kwa hii economic empowerment ambayo ilifanyika Thika, riders wetu 30 waliweza kupewa pikipiki na ambazo sasa hivi zinafanya kazi, na naweza kaambia ambao wanaeneza uvumi ya kwamba hazikupeanwa, mimi naweza testify ya kwamba hizo pikipiki zilipeanwa na zinafanya kazi hadi.
Unakosa pesa ya kulipa nyumba. Sasa hiyo mambo ilikuwa very challenging,
Na kwa sasa nimefurahia sana, nimepatiwa motorbike nyingine mpya, nimerudi kwa kazi na ningeshukuru serikali sana kwa sababu hiyo program.
Now it's time for us to take a very short break here on KUTV Primetime News. When we come back, we have a lot in store for you, so keep it here.
So my name is Kutv. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the CAFE project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Eva Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Hi, my name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa Okema Mukwa James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu umwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
They find it quite strange talking to you.
We should just make schools integrated,
Inclusive setups.
by providing the right facilities.
K. Martin. Welcome back. Now, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has trained his political lenses on the Western region, accusing both sides of the political divide of taking residents for a ride, from taking swipes at Interior Minister Kipchumba Murkomen to calling out Raila Odinga's long-standing grip on the region. Gachagua, alongside allied politicians, say it's time for a new political reckoning.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, flanked by a host of political allies, took his campaign trial to Trans Nzoia and Bungoma counties, unleashing yet another round of what is shaping up to be a nationwide political onslaught.
Tumekubaliana kati ya mimi, Fred Matiang'i, Kalonzo Musyoka, huyu Eugene Wamalwa, huyu Natembea, Martha Karua, tutasikizana tutoe mtu mmoja apambane na kasongo. And we must demand good governance and management of state resources.
In typical fashion, the convoy took aim at Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen's claim, dismissing his assertion that goons have been deployed to sabotage protests as a case of the government seeing ghosts where they were only youths with questions.
Goons wanaletwa huko, alafu serikali inatuambia eti ni upinzani imelipa hao watu. Sisi tuko na namna ya kulipa watu kama hao. Kama kuna watu ambao wanabeba rungu kuingia town, lazima serikali inajua ni akina nani. Hawezi kusema eti watu wanabeba rungu wameingia hapo kuvunja maduka ya watu, wameletwa na watu wa upinzani. Mbona hawajawakamata? Sababu walikuwa huko na polisi wakifanya hayo maneno.
The heat didn't spare ODM leader Raila Odinga either, with Gachagua accusing him of turning the Western region into a campaign stop that never gets a thank you note after advancing his political scores.
My cousins from Western Kenya, you have been misused for too long by Raila Odinga. Nyinyi mmetumika vibaya, si ndio? Huyu Raila mnamsaidia, mnampatia kura, anatoa fujo, anaingizwa kwa serikali, anawacha nyinyi kwa mataa. Na majamaa wawili wamekaa pale ati wanakula kwa niaba yetu. Ati wakishiba sisi tumeshiba. Nyinyi mnakubali maneno? Sema tawe.
The opposition coalition didn't hide its intentions, either vowing to have a seat at the decision-making table this time, not as guests but as hosts who bring their own menu, including a front-runner for the next polls.
Bongo sio tu kwenda. Huwezi kuwa umeiba vijana, umeiba mali ya wananchi kama vile Nzoi hapa, alafu tukuachilia tunafuga kuku hapa Usugui. Lazima Kasongo tukitutua kule Ikulu mara moja kotini.
Na sisi tunasema tukitaka tukomboe Nzoia, tukitaka tumalize uongozi wa kuua vijana wetu kila wakati, Ruto must go.
Hapa Butula Busia mnasemaje? Hapa mnasemaje? Harambe!
This western leg is part of what they are now branding a National Liberation Tour, a push to mobilize support and, in other words, uninstall the Kenya Kwanza administration politely. Yvonne Kemuma, KUTV.
And concerns are mounting over the proposed direct settlement system for coffee farmers, with Gishobu MP Robert Gishimugidhenji now joining farmers in rejecting the plan, warning it could weaken long-standing cooperative societies. The proposed system seeks to pay farmers directly via mobile platforms, raising fears of accountability and the future of farmer support systems. Leaders now say the move risks destabilizing an already struggling sector.
Na tunashukuru kwa sababu amesema atapeleka malalamiko ya mkulima mbele. Mkulima anaulizaje? Akilipwa pesa na simu, hiyo pesa itamsaidia kweli? Akilipwa pesa baada ya miezi 4, itamsaidia? Haitamsaidia.
Maneno ya kuchagua watu wachache waende watu represent, hiyo vile mlikataa imekataliwa kabisa. Kwa hivyo tumesimama hapo sema, na tumekubaliana hata na MP wetu hatutapeana details za nani senu
pale mbunge. Nitahakikisha ile sheria tunapitisha pale ambayo haijapita ya coffee bill ambayo kwa sasa iko Senate. Sisi tushamalizana nayo National Assembly. Tukirudi kutoka recess ambayo tuko na recess ya wiki kama 2, nitaenda nifuatilie ndio itoke huko Senate, tumalize issues zenye ziko ikuwe signed kama bill. Na wale wakulima pia kuna wengine wamechukua inputs ama ndawa ama fertilizer kwa cooperative factory. Kuna mtu amechukua hata kaloni kwa sako, atalipa na nini kama pesa itapitia kwa simu?
All right, welcome back. Let's get sporty. Now, a high-level delegation from the Confederation of Africa Football, CAF, has arrived in Kenya for final stakeholder workshops and critical inspections ahead of the 2025 African Nations Championship CHAN, set for next month, which will be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania next month. The CAF team began its Kenya leg of the tour on Thursday, with inspections scheduled to run through the July 6th. The focus is on elevating Kenya's readiness to co-host the tournament, with key visits to the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, and Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi. The 2025 CHAN tournament will kick off on August 2nd at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Tanzania, with Kenya set to host the final at Kasarani Stadium. And Bayern Munich will face the Paris Saint-Germain in a mouth-watering quarter-final encounter at the FIFA World Cup this Saturday at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta in the United States of America. Luis Enrique's men arrive at the United States as treble winners and favorites to lift the revamped Club Cup, but now must navigate past the familiar European rival Bayern Munich. In other matches lined up in the quarter-final, Real Madrid will battle it out for a ticket in the semi-finals of FIFA Club World Cup against Borussia Dortmund on Saturday. at MetLife Stadium in the United States. It is 40 minutes after 9 p.m. Time for us to bring a close to the conversation that is KUTV Primetime News this Friday night. But this is not the end of information on happenings in the country and beyond our borders, because tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Mizizi Weekendi will be coming to you, and at 9 p.m. Weekend Live will be coming to you as we continue to work towards informing you on what's happening within our borders and even outside our borders. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Samuel Kello. My name is Mutegi K. Martin, and until next time, goodbye.